Well, hello there, YouTube pipe community. Welcome to Bourbon Neophyte. I'm Anthony, and today I decided to set up here on the patio because it's a beautiful day here in sunny Las Vegas. Right now, we're about almost 85 degrees, slight breeze. So I apologize if you hear any wind. Let me know if you do, and if the sound quality isn't good, then I will try to remember that next time. But I wanted to pop on, do a short stream just because I decided I'm going to do my first box opening just because. Oh, hey, Highland Duncan, cheers from sunny Scotland. Well, you know what? Always appreciate you guys down there, and thank you for popping on. And I am glad that it's at a time that you can stick your head in there. And it is International Whiskey Day, so I am going to raise my little glass here. I have a Glen filled with some Glencadam 10, 46 ABV, just to celebrate this day. I was on with Scotch Down Under not too long ago and just chatting with him because he's over there in Australia. And it was nice to see him, and I figured I'd pop in and say hello for a little bit there, and then decided that I'm going to do this stream today and invited a friend to come along who is new to this, just as I am. We're not experts in any way, shape, or form, and nor do we really know what we're doing. However, we do know that we enjoy, from time to time, a quality tobacco and a dram. So we talked last week and just said, hey, let's do just a private chat together. Well, busy things happened, and I was going to do this, but I wasn't sure when. And so I was actually working on this thumbnail and everything, and then all of a sudden he popped up and said, hey, I'm here, I'm ready. And I said, well, you know what? No time like the present to do this. And so I figured spend a half hour, whatever it is, whoever pops on, great, and watches this either live or later on today, whatever, makes no difference. But anyway, let me bring my buddy Tony Two Toes on here because he's waiting in the back room and I don't want to just leave him hanging.
Oh, you could have left me. Cheers, man. How you doing, bud?
Cheers, man. Did you get that tea?
I got my tea. Yes, sir.
That's what counts.
Absolutely.
I finished up a couple of cups of coffee, and then I was out and about, and I got a fresh ground cup of coffee and brought it back while I was watching Scotch Down Under. And then right around 11 o'clock, I said, well, that's a good time for a nice, light, crisp glass of Scotch.
Oh, I hear you, man. Yeah, I'd be joining you if I didn't go too hard last night with ADHD stream.
Hey, cheers, Tater Don. Oh, always love it when Scotland's represented. Maybe Faz will jump on from New Zealand. I know Ken is still streaming, and I didn't want to mention anything when I was on his channel because I don't want to pull anybody away. They know I'm going live. You know, they'll see it pop up, but I don't want to steal his thunder because, you know, it's his thing that this was a kind of an impromptu thing. And I figured you're here, I'm here, let's talk. But the real reason why we're all here is got stuff in the mail, joined a forum called Pipe Smokers Den, and I've found a lot of good information there. And I told Tony there, I said, hey, pop on so that way he can learn a little more about pipes and pipe tobacco. Because just when you think you've got a grasp on things, and it's the same with whiskey, just when you think you've got a grasp on things, no, something else happens, something else comes up, a blend, a new whiskey pops on the market, whatever the case may be, it changes your whole perspective. So here we go. So I invited him on, and I got the box here that found someone on there, and he and I went back and forth, and we exchanged some samples because I am new to this. I'm not a avid pipe smoker, cigar smoker, or anything by any means. Sorry about that. The wind's blowing a little bit. enjoy the breeze. I do. So I want to understand this a little better, just like we do when we talk about our whiskey. And it's not as simple as most people think. So, being that I'm new, like I said, we exchanged some samples, and he had sent me a box, to which I have here, and I was shocked at how quick that it showed up from when it was mailed to when it showed up on my doorstep. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm not mentioning his name or anything like that because I don't think he wants, huge accolades or anything like that. I've already reached out to him, sent him an email, and then he and I will have a conversation about what he had sent me. But some of the things that I have purchased and got delivered to me from some of the major people around, we all know who they are. I'm not going to plug them on the channel because I don't get sponsors or anything like that, and I'm not looking for anything like that. But some things that I was interested in and wanted to try, and this stuff I had gotten over the last few weeks, just haven't popped tins of it. But one of them, I'm sure you guys all know of Squadron Leader, that this is a English blend, and I do like the Latakia, the Orientals, Virginias, Kentuckys, Perique. But when it's Latakia Orientals with some Virginia or Kentucky put into it, it's appealing to me. So, and I've heard good things, particularly about Squadron Leader. So I picked up a tin of it because sometimes it actually can be hard to find from time to time. Then another one I've heard a lot of people talk about was from GLP's, called the Maltese Falcon. So I thought, okay, I'm going to give that a whirl, and figured, what the heck, because Perique, Latakia, a little burly, so on and so forth. I'm thinking, okay, very, how do I want to say this, medium to full on the flavor is to where I would be at when it comes to that. And like I said, I don't know all the different tobaccos or understand all these blends yet. So I'm kind of focusing on a few. When I mean a few, it will be a few as to makers like Cornell and Deal, GLPs, because they have so many. And I have other ones, but right now we're just going to go over what I have received recently. Then the other one, and I will mention him, the Spurgeon Piper. I don't know if any of you subscribe to him, but if not, Spurgeon Piper, I would recommend it. He showed this one called Penny Farthing. And I thought it was interesting, and it just happened to be from GLP's. And I'm like, okay. So we got Perique, Fire-Cured Dark Kentucky, Virginias. I'm thinking, all right, it's right where I'm at. It's something I would like to experience, and it's sometime I'm gonna crack that. And it's a shag cut. I don't know if you guys can see that on there. Let me turn a little bit. So it's a shag cut. So it's a different cut than others that you see, and there are many different types. And I'm not going to get into all that particularly now, but just wanted to kind of bring that up there.
You will when I start asking questions, bud.
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely. You and I'll chat after this stream ends, so on and so forth, without a doubt. So we'll get into our normal BS and discussions, because we have what we call a back room that it's not live, and we will do what we do best: BS about whiskey, cigars, pipe tobacco, cars, vacations, holidays, whatever the case may be. And those of you that have never tuned into my streams, who may be new to this, don't know, when I do my streams regularly, Bourbon Neophyte, I do whiskey reviews, but we do a thing called pub style, to where I'll do a review, but then I actually open the stream up to others to actually join live. And you don't have to have the particular whiskey I have. You may have another one you want to talk about, or you just may want to join and just talk about whiskey. So we do it pub style, just as if you were sitting at the local pub right around wherever it is you are, and we interact with each other and we discuss whiskeys, not only live, but in there, but also with the people in chat. So we encourage that. So if you are new and you're just now watching this, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you get the notifications, but also remember to click on that bell, because that's important, because then YouTube will send you the notifications when there's a video or when there is a live. And I 99.5% of the time do lives. I just like it better that way, straight off the cuff. This is how it is. This is what you get. This is me. So that's what we do. But right now I know that there are people who want to see what's in the box, and Highland Duncan's already got a bowl of Squadron later on now with a dram of Highland Park. Oh my gosh. He knows. He's heard me talk, but Highland Park, and even Tony will say, it is a lovely Scotch. I don't know. Do you have Highland Parks yet in your collection, Tony?
I do not have one in my collection, but I have been sampled it before. It is.
That's what I thought. I think we've talked. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Highland Park is such a great dram to have, particularly with the sweetness in the very light peat. It's not like an Ardbeg or a Lafroig peat or anything like that. It's not going to cause you to want to drag your tongue across the carpet in a dog pen to try to get rid of that peat. I think it's great, particularly if you want to start out something peaty. And when I mean peaty, but it's on the lighter spectrum, so you can develop the taste. You'll get the normal iodine and Band-Aid taste that a lot of people like to say that they experience with a peated whiskey in general. But then you can move up from there. And again, that's a whole nother stream. But again, you can go back and watch some of my past streams that I've done, particularly on different Highland Parks, different scotches, peated, non-peated, so on and so forth. So please do that. But right now, we're going to go ahead and get into this little box right here. And I sure hope nobody gets offended, because I'm gonna pull out my letter opener here. So, you know, I know Tony's not offended by it, but I don't want to hurt myself when I open this thing up. And I don't have any idea on what's in here. I'm just extremely grateful for what is in here, because it's something that I've not had. And same thing that whenever I emailed, whenever I got him some stuff, I was hoping it was stuff he didn't have. And of course, we did converse about that, so I knew what he didn't have. So I made sure he got some things that I thought that he might want to try and experience, because it's just like whiskeys. It's what it's about. It's your experiences, and it's what makes it. And this package in particular, I was kind of overwhelmed, because one, particularly the size, two, the openness and willingness of that particular forum to want to share not only their tobacco, but their knowledge and understanding of the tobacco, also their opinion. And let me just say this, on what type, style, and pipe to use for particular tobaccos. And we're not going to get much into it, but what you want to remember is certain pipes you may want to specifically reserve for non-aromatics, because as you know, aromatics particularly can ghost, which means leave a residue. And if you switch from a aromatic pipe tobacco to a non-aromatic pipe tobacco, you may still get that flavor. There are some English and some other blends, and I'm just using that as an analogy, that because of what's in them and they are not aromatics, they can also impart that flavor within your pipe. So you will hear there are people that will only smoke Virginias in a certain pipe, only smoke English in a certain pipe, only smoke Perique in a certain pipe. Same thing with aromatics or heavy aromatics. So that being said, that's something that you're going to want to have to look into yourself. And I am in no way, shape, or form an expert on this. Absolutely not. So I've kind of opened this up, and the only thing I can say right now, with just what I'm looking at in here and what's in my hand, is I am amazed. And let me just hold some of this stuff up. These are different tobaccos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In these beautifully sealed pouches. And I already saw one in there that I know, and I'm going to, particularly because I've heard about it, was the Cornell and Deal Pegasus. And this isn't like a fresh tin. This tin's from 2014, but that's what this one particularly is here, is the Pegasus. And I'm not going to go into them all, but there is an H&H in there, and I'm very excited about that. Those of you that know. And this is someone that has a cellar. And as you know, if you cellar tobacco, you're not particularly wanting to age them or anything like that, but it's just your stock. So you have a few tins or you have a few things of it, and you're just putting them away. It's like somebody that collects wine, or like Tony and I do, we have a whiskey collection. So we have different things, and certain ones, once we take the first few drams of it, we go, we need the backup. And then sometimes you get the backup and you go, I've got to have a backup for the backup. So take that analogy and put it onto either cigars or pipe tobacco. Same thing. But when you're talking about pipes, they talk about it as cellaring. I am already amazed and absolutely grateful for this. It is outstanding, and it's not all. It's not all. I've got some things in here that I cannot believe he sent, and this one in particular is the Dunhill Flake, a tin of that, which is Virginia pipe tobacco, which I am thrilled beyond belief to get. And then this one here, because he knows that I don't lean towards aromatics. I do not mind certain aromatics with a light topping. And one that you wouldn't think would be is the Peterson Early Morning Pipe, which is a great tin to have, but it is light topping. So I wouldn't consider it an aromatic, but there is a light topping of, let's just say, like a sugar on the leaf, but it's an English blend, but it's very, very light. And that's just my opinion. I am no expert. Please feel free to correct me if I am wrong. And let me just see here, like a Speyside with a wee bit of peat, like a class. Yes. Here we're going to talk about whiskey because some of these people in here know me from Whiskey Tube. But absolutely, to me, I almost prefer a peated Scotch, and it does not have to be the Lafroig or Ardbeg or Octomore type of peat. Doesn't have to be. So I'm very happy to have that, but I kind of prefer that, and I also think that it goes well with particular tobaccos. But again, I'm not a daily or weekly person that engages in tobacco, but I enjoy it and respect it for the craft, not only in growing it, but to blend these tobaccos to make them what they are. I think it's really great. Hey, cheers, Dan. Appreciate you being here. And Bourbon Baller Lee, I'm sure you are working hard for us today. Appreciate you. And remember, smash that like button. Don't forget about that. It's always important. So the next one is Hearth and Home Nitro. I hope you all can see that. And I'm very excited over that, without a doubt, because again, it's something that I've heard about. And then there's another one in here that I'm just, and here's another one. And unfortunately, there's no smell-o-vision yet, but some of the aromas that are coming from here are absolutely amazing. I love that smell. Just like there are certain scotches, because of the malt, I could just smell that, let alone drink it. I could just sit here and just nose that sweet bread note I get off certain single malt scotches every day. But the next one is another one, and I'm so glad that I got these, because I've always looked at this particular, sorry about that, that time it was me, it was not the wind, that I'm interested to see what they can do. So, and a lot of it is not available in bulk. So you can buy an ounce or two versus a tin. Sometimes an ounce is better. So that way you can get some and have enough that you can go, you know what? This is worth buying a few more ounces and taking some time with and experiencing. But this is another one by Hearth and Home. Hold that up here so you all can see that too. So that is what was in this box that I am absolutely amazed with. In other words, I am the generosity is above and beyond. I mean, I've heard about people getting bombed with stuff like this, and that's the term that they use. I'm gonna say this, I'm humble. I wasn't expecting that. If there would have been, a couple of those pouches in there, I'd have been smiling from ear to ear and happier than a cat that just ate the canary. I would have been very good with that. But some of these people from the community that I was telling you about really genuinely want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like the whiskey community, from what I can see.
Exactly. It's just
extremely friendly, extremely. They want you to try their stuff. They want you to learn and try your own stuff and come into the community as a colleague, not as somebody who's trying to catch up. That makes sense. They're trying to get you on the same level, which is good. Yeah, I've noticed that too, and it's great that you were able to make those connections through that website and be able
that's why I told
share
you
that way. That's really that's amazing.
That's why I told you need to get involved with it.
Well, you're right. I went to my friend's house last night, and I left myself with a couple baggies because he's also a pipe smoker.
And so
being able to come home with samples is awesome.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. So it's really, really great that these people are out there, and I just wish some of them lived closer so that we could have more of this experience, like when we do, and we're sitting and we're just chatting about whiskey, Tony, and we have our open pub. He's very familiar. He's been on my stream many times, and he and I have sat and chatted and just with others about whiskey in general. We kind of break it down, and then, like I said, we go to the back room and we continue the chat. And there, it's private; it's not out in the world. So you say whatever the heck you want to say. You're in the bar now. It's
like
after
you're in
hours.
Backyard, hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, it was just like being in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I want it to be all the time when you're on my stream. It's just like you've known us all the time. It's just great. But that being said,
actually going to go ahead and
what were you smoking, Tony? I mean, I know last time I talked to you, you had the Q1, I do believe, by Lane, and that's an aromatic, right?
The Lane 1Q, that one.
Yeah,
that's an aromatic. Okay, see, I don't know the differences between the different blends, so that one I find to be my mild one that I go to.
You said you find it mild?
Yeah, I find that to be my mild one. Like, it is aromatic for sure.
It is.
It doesn't smell like straight tobacco. It smells more like apricot.
Correct. So that's because it's an aromatic. And so you can get apple, you can get cherry, black cherry, mango, grape. It gets wild. That's why you want to watch.
Right. So when I started, I basically just looked for what's a nice mild tobacco that smells good, right? Because that was essentially my goal, is something that I could smoke indoors and not have it linger and just smell like crap. So that was the first one I got, and it's nice and mild compared to the other one that I picked up.
Oh, you got Blood Red Moon. Yep.
This one is an aromatic.
That one is. I think that's a cherry bomb.
That is a cherry bomb, for sure.
Yeah, I don't have it, but there's a few specials on it right now. And it is extremely, extremely different. But it's one of the top. It's one of the top, from I understand. And feel free to either correct me. I know Highland Duncan's in there too. And I want to talk a little bit more about Squadron Leader because he was talking about that. But so do you have anything that's non-aromatic? So like what I was talking about when we talked about Squadron Leader, when I showed you, I don't know if I showed you this, but this one here.
Actually, that's what I was gifted. That's what's in this bag. I was just looking.
Okay. Terrific any time of the day. Doesn't have to be. It's just the name of it. It's terrific any time of the day. But you'll find as you go, and just like I've been told, you will gravitate to certain things in the morning, to the afternoon, to the evening, and then they make another one called Nightcap by Peterson. Okay. And it's just a different blend, and a lot of people choose to have that at the end of the day.
Is it like the difference between like a lighter smoke and a heavier smoke?
Yes, and then that's just a easy analogy.
Well, yeah, because I'm new, so I don't really know. Me too. I'm going to be using training wheels all the way through. Easy, light. I mean, it could be offensive as saying a whiskey is smooth. But that's kind of how I have to go about it right now.
Well, that's the way I'm doing it because
I don't have the vocabulary yet.
Me either.
Yeah.
And that's why you and I are going to be good together on this because neither one of us know what the hell we're talking about. But it's okay. Everybody's got to start somewhere at some time. But let me have a sip of this little Glencaddam here because it's after 12 here in Vegas.
And it's World Whiskey Day.
Got a little warmer than I like, but you know what? Seemed to make it a little creamier. And that fruit that I get on that has seemed to pop a little bit on there. So it's like, wow, that's not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. So for some of those that you have, if you are not going to be into them soon, that tobacco, you see these, and I know you know what they are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You want to get the smaller jars for those, or you can get the larger jars. And when you buy bulk, or you get the tins that you are not going to be using, you put them in there and then label them.
Oh, so Anthony, my sweet summer child. This is not my first foray into smokables.
Oh,
I have many of.
Oh, okay.
This is just my first foray into this type of pipe tobacco.
Okay, perfect.
But that's definitely a great tip for new.
It is to use the mason jars. And where I find the best deals sometimes, go to your thrift store.
Yeah,
people discard them. Yep,
thrift store, dollar store. I have gardening stores that sell them when it's around time for jarring season. They have the machines to macerate the fruits and everything, and they also have the jars. So yeah, you can find
Highland Duncan. You're right. It is a favorite, and I always say it's something they should have as a staple. Look who is here, Shredward. Cheers, brother. Appreciate you for popping in, man. Thank you. But yeah, it is really, really amazing. So the one that I wasn't sure what I was going to start with or open, but I really, really am interested in the penny farthing.
Penny farthing? Right on.
Yeah. And I've had this for about 2 weeks. And I think I'm going to go ahead and give that thing a spin. Just because, but I'm going to, everyone's got to have at least one or two, a cob.
I don't have one yet.
This is a Missouri Meerschaum. It is the Shire Cobbett. Let me hold it another way so you can get a better look. It's called the Shire Cobbett. And I think that once you get it for a while, it's a great smoker, particularly if you're going to sit back and read, or just if you're a person that loves to hold rather than clinch.
Yes.
Yes.
I hold. I do the hold.
And exactly. And so I think I'm going to put a little in there and give it a whirl. So what pipe do you have right now, and what did you put in there?
What I put in here is something I cannot answer for you right now because I was stupid and did not write down the name of it. However, I could describe it for you. It smells like maple syrup on top of waffles. It's super aromatic, very dark, and it hits strong. It hits heavy,
Mhm.
but it smells delicious. As for the pipe, it's just a black walnut that I got off Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No
I don't really
particular
know.
name like Dr. Graybo or.
It's not a Dr. Graybo. I also have a Dr. Graybo as well, a separate one.
And is that filtered?
Yes, they're both filtered. Let me pull up my past orders because I did get it off Amazon, so I should be able to find it.
Gentlemen, he definitely is on the wrong channel. Definitely on the wrong channel. I mean, he said gentlemen. He couldn't be talking about us. I'm looking around to see
Definitely
who's
not.
here. Yeah.
What's up, Adam?
Cheers, Mr. Shits. Hey, when you get Top Shelf Dustin to show up, look out. That's all I could say. Look out.
Two
Cheers,
toes
man.
with 200 pillows? Yeah, bud, you have to have all the pillows. Need all the pillows.
All about being comfortable.
Damn Skippy.
Hold on. Let me just open this up. Oh, man.
Easy there, bud.
Wow.
It's Whitluck's tobacco pipe.
So if you haven't ever seen one of these tins, Tony, they open up like a can. I mean, just like a
a tuna can.
So once they're in there, until you really open them, they're good to go. In other words, you don't have to age them or anything like that, or they'll stay as long as you don't basically break the seal. They're good to go right then and there, and you can just throw them back for a month, 6 months, a year. They're good. Oh man, this is a nice.
Well, from what I've been reading, I mean, I don't know how true it is, but it's kind of like cigar aging. You can keep it in a humidor and keep it forever.
Oh yeah. There's people that some of them in those packages, those Mylar packages, are from 2014. Mm-hmm. Now, I just opened this penny farthing, and wow, very earthy. So it's a shag cut blend of bright red Virginias spiced with Louisiana Perique. And that Louisiana Perique is specifically grown in Louisiana, and it is pretty much characteristic of there. So it is very spicy. And a hint of fire-cured dark Kentucky. Easy to pack, easy to smoke. Sipped gently. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. Sipping versus being a freight train. You definitely, on some, you don't want to freight train them. I don't think anybody really wants to freight train, let's say, because that's going to cause you some problems, gives you what they call tongue bite, and makes for a bad experience for you. So pardon me while I finish this, because I like this cut, this shag cut, but I just love that earthy flavor that can
you pull it up to the camera just so I can see what the shag cut is?
I am. I'm going to do it right now. It's funny you said. I was just thinking, let me hold this up. Can you see it, or is there not enough light?
Yeah, I could see it, but can you pinch it between your fingers? And
I'm going to. I'm just going to say, let me grab some here. I mean,
some of the stuff I have is really
fine,
really long.
No, this is extremely fine. Hold on.
Okay.
Extremely fine. I don't know how else to describe it. No, it's not like what you have. It's extremely fine, extremely thin. I'm trying to. Okay, think of when you're grating cheese.
Sure.
Sorry, might be a bad analogy, but it's like that.
No, I got you. It's like mozzarella. Instead of going lengthwise to where you get the strings, you're going against the grain to where you get a little bowl.
See, two Italians, we got it. As soon as he said mozzarella, yeah, we got it. No problem. So, wow. It actually tastes amazing, and I didn't even put fire to this thing yet. But penny farthing by GLPs is what we got in the bowl right now. You know what, Highland? It smells tremendous right now. So let me get the char light going here. So pardon me, people.
Yeah, it usually takes me 2 to 3 lights to get it going.
Well, that was a mess. Let me get just a slight tamp. Let me get the. Wow. I could tell it's going to definitely be a sipper.
Okay. Yeah, that was the other question I was going to ask. Are you a lighter man or a match man?
I have both.
Okay.
I have the soft flame. This one I just was here. It's a Bic. I have matches out the hoo-ha, but some people are purists, just like they are with their cigar. They want a specific cut, and they will only either use match or cedar strips if you're really a purist when it comes to your cigar and tobacco.
So you don't subscribe to that. You don't subscribe to that. You grab whatever's around.
Yeah, basically. It was right here, and I was like, oh, this will work just fine.
It's fine. Figured I'd just ask the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. You definitely know there's Perique in here. It has a nice earthiness, but it has a spice to it. But what I find sometimes, like on the oh my God, the name of the brand escapes me. Is it Haunted Bookshelf? No. Haunted Bookshop. Sorry. Haunted Bookshop. No. Oh, anyway. I get a little drying effect on some, depending upon the blend. This will help with that. Well, it can't hurt.
Comes from Louisiana.
Cannot hurt.
I don't think I have any Louisiana in any of my blends.
Very smoky on the retro hill. Very smoky. Very thick, if that makes sense, on it.
Sure.
Definitely Perique. Definitely Perique in there. Perique is dominant on this. The only reason I know that is because I have the Beast, and that's 51% Perique with other ones. But I'm picking up, I do believe that's going to be the Kentucky. Nice smoke, almost like a campfire smoke. Almost like a campfire smoke on that. Oh, look who we got here. ASMR Whiskey. Cheers, Andrew. Appreciate you. Remember, all of you that are popping in and out, smash that like button. And if you are new, please subscribe. Click on the bell. Get those notifications. But yeah, this is pretty good so far. Let me get another little hit on this.
Yeah,
it's rich.
Maple syrup.
See this, like I said, yours isn't definitely an aromatic and probably has that topping, and it's not unusual to have some of that done. It's just going to depend on what you like. I'm not quite down that road with those really heavier aromatics. I'm not against them.
I think that's definitely where our palates differ. Our palates differ on whiskey as well. You enjoy your scotches and your smoke and your peat. I enjoy my bourbons and my sweet side. So that's kind of the differences already. I mean, that's just right off the bat.
Yeah. And just so you know, Highland, I am working on that. Harry and I have been talking and chatting with those boys over there in the UK. And, between my schedule, their schedule, but also the time difference has become an issue. However, my schedule is opening up in the next few weeks, and so is theirs. And then the other day, they did a live stream in the afternoon, which was afternoon my time, and I got to be on, and we've kind of come up with some topics just by talking on that particular stream and emailing. So we're gonna get something together, and it's going to be a good time without a doubt. And I am so looking forward to joining them on one of their streams, because I think that they are remarkable people, and I really enjoy their streams when they're on and I get to catch them. I think that they have great topics, they have great energy together, and it's something that we all can enjoy. I mean, everybody can get something out of it, from the whiskey to the tobacco to the movies to the books and so on and so forth. It's just good, genuine discussion on that channel. And if people don't know about them, Sweet Galen's, they are two guys out of the UK that do different reviews, particularly when it comes to tobacco, and they usually have a whiskey or a coffee or something with them. And if you are not familiar with them, go ahead, search them on YouTube, pop them a sub, give them a thumbs up, watch their videos. Great people, honestly, great people. But let me go back down here and see, because I know I saw another one pop up. Yep. But yeah, this so far is, like I said, it's pretty good. Like I said, but it's one of those things where you're going to need to sit with it a spell. You're going to need to be able to spend some time and just work with it to really pick it out. And so you may need to do 1, 2, 3 bowls. Who knows? It will take me a while for this. I'll end up putting it in a jar, because I don't want to leave it in the tin once I've opened it. But I think it's pretty good so far, if you like that type of tobacco that's in it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think it's pretty good so far, what I tell. But it's definitely something you sip. You sip
okay.
like a good scotch.
Yeah, even with good whiskey, though, I can't slow down to that level. So,
well,
that's kind of where I get the tongue bite too, because I am a little faster. It's the anxiety that catches in, and a little too fast for my own good.
Everybody's been there. I've talked to other people say the same thing, but you'll learn. Mm-hmm. There are some that you can get away with it. Others, you're going to do it a couple times and go, you know what, Anthony, I got to slow down. Slow down. Sorry about the truck noise, but this is nothing you can do about it. Things when you're doing something live in your backyard. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. But
yeah,
I love the smoke. I mean, I love that campfire type smoke flavor. Mm-hmm. But the more I have, it's not as, how do I say this? It didn't come off as strong this time as it did the first.
You're acclimating to it.
Yes. Not as big. Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, this is something that definitely is worth a sit. Definitely worth a sit to really get to know and enjoy. And don't mind me here a minute. I'm going to work on this for a minute while the rubbish man comes and picks up the bin.
Cheers, man. Like this since it went out. Yeah, I still struggle with keeping that cherry lit throughout the whole bowl. I can't get the pack right and the tampering correct yet. definitely a learning curve. Speaking of samples, though, I actually have samples for Z-Man waiting to get sent out. I poured them originally when I said I was going to, but I didn't label them, so I didn't know what was in any of the samples that I poured. And going back through all the packages that I had ready to get sent out, I had to re-pour them, and I'll have them out next week.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I thought I hit mute and I just realized it didn't take. So you had to hear the rubbish truck going by. Oh, well.
That's fine.
Hey, it wouldn't be fun if it wasn't live, right?
Such is life, man. What are you going to do?
Yeah. That's what happens when you're in the backyard. Z-Man, cheers, brother. Highland Park, what did you pack? Are you still on the squadron leader, or did you put something else in there? But
I definitely agree, though. The learning and practice is part of the fun bit. Same as it was for the whiskey.
So if you're noticing, particularly since you're on an aromatic, they are moist.
Yeah.
Okay. What you may want to do is leave it set for 20 minutes. Another secret, bring it out, put it on a paper towel, fold the paper towel in half, microwave it for a few seconds, like 6 seconds, 10 seconds tops. And that has a tendency to speed it up. Well, this is just what I've told. I haven't done that. I have some that I will rub out, and I keep it in a lid of a tin for a half hour. Sometimes you get doing things, and next thing you know, it turns out to be an hour. And it makes a big difference. And I will say one that makes a big difference too, it doesn't now because I opened this tin back in December, was this one.
Right.
I thought it was great as far as when it came out, smelled absolutely delicious. But now that the tin has been open and I've never removed it from there, it's lost some of that moisture, and it's like, boom, perfect. Okay, nice. So squadron leader for tonight, not a fan of aromatic, not a big aromatic fan, prefer my English and Virginia Periques. Yes, I am an English person also with those Virginia Perique blends, and they are unique, and it is one of those tastes that you have to acquire on there. So absolutely, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I need to pick myself up some Perique just so I could see what it tastes like.
There are some out there that are Perique forward, and I would look into some bulks that you can buy an ounce, because it's one of the stronger tobaccos, and it's spicy. So when I say spicy, think of a rye that's nice and spicy. That gives you that black pepper type of note. Yeah, that's why I want to. Yeah,
I stay away from that somewhat with my whiskey. I wonder how it would be in the tobacco, though. So,
well,
I'm trying
to think. Exactly. So I was trying to think of how can I describe that to you that you would get. So
that's a great analogy right there for sure.
So I would go with something that has Perique in it, but not Perique forward, as in Perique is the dominant leaf.
So a high rye bourbon of the tobacco world. Got it.
Bingo. Go drop it down. Yep.
I got it. I could bridge the two topics quite easily.
Well, I'm trying to be open about it and thinking, well, how can I describe this that I know you would absolutely get? And people have said the same thing to me. It's peppery, and that's what they tell me. Peppery.
Sure. Good question.
Absolutely, Tater Dom. You don't have to be a noob, but yes, it's a great one to start out with. I don't think it is overpowering. I don't think that it is Latakia forward, and that's just a type of tobacco. I enjoy it. As a matter of fact, that was one of the first tins I have purchased. Is exactly. That's the whole thing. And I can say this. I know there are things in the whiskey world that make my right foot tap and carries over to the left. And I mean, I can just do a shuffle. Then there's ones that just make the foot tap slightly. And then there's other ones that go, it's just not in my wheelhouse. And so absolutely right. Taste is strictly on you.
Subjective.
Like. And so that's why also, like I said, I like bulk, because you can buy smaller quantities and determine if you like the combination. And then if you go, you know what, I like this combination, so I'm going to go ahead and one, order more, or two, I'm going to try it from this maker or that maker, because then that helps you grow. And I know it's going to sound weird, but Virginia Perique from GLPs maybe is going to be different than Virginia and Perique through Cornmeal and Dill. I know it sounds weird because they're both the same leaf, but it's how they blend it and where they get it from. So it's like the grain in whiskey. It's all pretty much just the same way, but it's what grain is it, where they get it from, and then when they put it in that barrel, what's the char, and then once they do that and they put it in the rick house, where is it in the rick house? I mean, there's so many different variables. So I liken the tobacco process for when it matures and it's in, for lack of a better terminology, in those warehouses, aging, doing its thing. Where is it? And I do believe, and this is just me, that temperature, humidity, where it's, like I said, where it sits in there, where it's coming of age before they make it into what you get, all plays into the taste, the aroma. So yeah, it's as complex as whiskey. It's as complex as whiskey. And it's just amazing that you can get that out of there.
Sure.
Well, one thing, Tater Dom, let me just say this. If you're to put the least amount into it, as far as the tin and the pipe, you do what you want to do. But I highly recommend a Missouri Meerschaum corn cob. And I know people turn their nose up at it, but don't look past it. And yes, you can find briars out there for $25, $30, $40 on there. And they're not bad. They serve their purpose. And yes, there are briars that are $100, $200, $1,000, $3,000 or more when you get into the artisan pipes. And that's a whole nother world and a whole nother realm. But I do have Savinelli, and I do have, or excuse me, not Savinelli, because something popped up. I saw it, Stanwell, and I do have Peterson. I have a Peterson pub pipe, to which when I have a couple of hours to sit and I'm not going anywhere, I enjoy packing that. But I only put non-aromatics in there, and particularly English. But I'll load straight Virginia in there, no problem. No problem. I just don't want heavy, goopy aromatics or lush toppings like maple syrup or anything like that in there, because like I said, the chances of it ghosting within your bowl, that briar, can happen. They can ghost in a cob. However, less chance of it ghosting, but it can, depending upon that type of tobacco that you're using, and depending on how potent, let's say, it is when they've applied that topping or that grape flavor, that cherry flavor, that vanilla flavor, whatever it is that makes it the aromatic. that can leave something in there. So the reason why I say that is it's better to start off at this spectrum, buy the tobacco you want, but get a $10 or $30 cob that it will last you some time. There are other things that you want to do in the first couple of bowls in any pipe that you get. It's not going to smoke well. What I mean by that is flavors. So it's like when you pop open that new whiskey. Yep, that first dram sometime is good. And you go, oh, yeah, that's good. But you get to it maybe 10 days later after it has a chance to open up. Just transfer that into the times you use it. So the more you use it, the more it's seasoned. Let's use that term. Then you are really then going to get more flavors from that tobacco. And again, I'm new, but the only reason why I know about this is when talking about it, asking these questions, being on that particular forum I talked about, the Pipe Smokers Den, looking at some of the posts, reading, researching on my own to understand what this is. And I know that much, literally that much. I am no expert by any means. I just enjoy talking about it. I'm not a daily, weekly type person that indulges.
What I noticed when I got my pipes is that they had a coating on them already.
Yes, some do. And I just realized that.
And I saw on a lot of forums, people were saying, either you remove that completely or you have to smoke through it and cover it up because that coating is just going to alter the flavor of your tobacco until you get a different coating on top of it. So,
and there are manufacturers
that I have noticed.
There are manufacturers that don't do that. That don't do that in the pipe. Off the top of my head, I cannot name one, but they're not all there. But some of them you will see, and particularly when you get into the more natural pipes. And I know, I do believe Savinelli has a few out right now. I just seen them. I don't know if it was on Smoking Pipes or PNC or tobaccopipes.com. One of those major ones. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to name any of them, but sometimes it helps to be specific. But they have some, and you could see it's natural briar. There's nothing to it. It's natural briar. You do not see that. I call it paint, but you don't see that on the inside of the bowl.
Yeah, my buddy, the one whose house I was at last night, he actually laid his own pipes. He makes his own in his lathe in his garage out back. So he's in the process of making me one that's going to be completely natural.
And that is an artisan pipe.
Yeah.
That is a true artisan pipe. And
that's going to be a treasured gift that I keep with.
And no two are ever the same. He may make two, but when you have them like that, it's not a machine made to where it's a cutter.
Yeah. No, that's going to be
he may make a bulldog shape, just using that as an example. But the one he makes for me, even though it's almost identical to yours, it's never exactly the same.
So one thing he was telling me, he had a corncob pipe that started blowing out the back to where it like the cherry itself caught on the corncob and started burning out the back of the pipe, like towards where you would hold it. And he gave me a very interesting fix for that. He's like, yeah, I've been playing around with how to fix that because that is one of my favorite pipes. I still want to smoke out of it. So what I did was I took the pipe ash after smoking a bowl, I ash it out into my ashtray, and I mix it with some honey. And I put the honey and ash mixture into the hole that was being burnt, and it's kept now for a couple months. I thought that was a very interesting, unique way to go about what could be a catastrophic blowout, right?
Well, absolutely. But what it's telling me is maybe on the inside too of that bowl that there might be a problem. And other forums will give you ideas on how to stop that. And you're right. But sometimes you will get burnout, and literally you will burn out the bottom of your pipe. It can happen.
Yeah, he says he does that for all of his corn cobs, is put a little ash and honey down at the bottom, so that never burns out. But he never had a blowout on the side before. So he was kind of testing that to see if it fixes through the side, you know?
Yeah, I mean it happens. I've seen pictures. It just happens. Remember, this is a most when you get a briar pipe. Briar is a root, so after so many times it can. But that's why too it's important to build up what they call cake on the inside of there. Now you don't want it to where you couldn't stuff a pea down there, but you always want a light coating in there about, I always say, half the thickness of a dime.
Well, it's interesting. This pipe that I got, because the Dr. Grabbo that I got, right, the regular billiard from Dr. Grabbo, it's just the regular pipe. It had a little coating in it. It goes straight down. Nothing special. Came with its own filter. But this other one that I got, the Black Walnut, came with these little filter things. Little mesh filter.
Hold on.
That
Let me
goes
get
at the
that a little
bottom.
closer on that. What the heck?
Little mesh filter that goes on the bottom of the bowl. It sits
Oh,
down
yeah,
in the
yeah,
vase.
yeah. Okay.
So this actually I feel like is very useful. I'm wondering why they only gave me like 5. I might have to get a bunch.
I don't prefer them at all. I accidentally got 2 meerschaums, Missouri meerschaums, but I was pretty adamant that they didn't have it, but when they arrived, they did. So I pulled it from the one. It smokes okay, but I will tell you, it will force you to really sip it because you don't want one of those comets coming through there and into the back of your throat. So the other thing is,
I haven't had that especially with the filters that are in there. I
the
haven't
filters,
had any cold throat.
Yeah, filters generally will help with tongue bite and moisture. You don't get the gurgling, and that's what you'll hear people talk about.
The gurgle.
I just don't like it because generally you're only going to get a bowl out of a filter, particularly the Dr. Grabo's.
No, the Dr. Grabbo's are real small. Yeah.
Yeah, you're only going to have one usually out of there. I have some of their filters because of it, but the experiences have not been good, so I have pulled it out. And then there's a thing called a forever stem. They are replacement stems that once you yank out that filter, you can buy that stem, put it in there. It narrows the intake a little bit. So how do I say this? It's not like breathing through your nostrils. You have some restriction in there, if that makes sense to you. So it slows the flow down versus what I call totally open. And either way is fine. But the only reason why I'm going to replace the stem is because I want to use that particular pipe and leave it somewhere. And I just, like I said, the filters will never see that thing again. But it's still in the seasoning process.
Sure.
So I force myself to go through it from time to time in order to season it better.
I gotcha.
Now see, now I'm getting a nice sweetness. A nice sweetness. Thank you for answering that. I was just going to type that in. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. But
But yeah, the Perique, the Kentucky in here is definitely there because it's a nice, deep campfire smoke.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I could see that going well with a good Scotch, with a little smoky Scotch.
Probably a peated Scotch.
Because peated, a smoky peated Scotch.
Or High West's campfire.
I haven't had one of those. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. No.
If you find it,
with my whiskey, with my bourbon and whiskey consumption, I'm a little scared of smoke. I'm a little scared of peat.
You know what? How do I say this? I would tell you don't be, because it's not what people say. At least it didn't come off that to me when they said, "Oh, it's like biting into a campfire and da 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 da."
Oh, I've had samples of it, and I've had some that have really blown my palate out for sure. I think I went into it kind of blindly, not knowing what I was about to get into, and I kind of scarred myself with with like a Lafroig, I think it was.
Oh,
not
well,
knowing what it was, and just
yeah,
going at it as it was handed to me from a friend, and I'm thinking it's just a normal whiskey that I'm gonna have, and woof.
yeah. That was a jarring thing when you went right to Lafroig. But you know what? Many
Yeah,
people have the
PTSD
same
from it, man.
experience with a peated whiskey because they didn't know. And so when you have somebody, and I'm going to use me an example, to take them on a journey like that, to bring them up to a level, that makes all the difference in the world.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, you gotta ease into it. Gotta dip your toe into it. You can't just jump right in, man. But that's why I've also been a little scared of buying anything without trying it first, because I don't want to just have more open bottles here. I already have enough open bottles. I don't need any more. And it's not like Ben's collection has a whole lot of smoke in it or a lot of peat in it. So next time I go up to Connecticut and sit with Irene, I'll have her ease me in, I think, with one of her many, many samples that she has. That's something I need to find for pipe tobacco, is an Irene. Somebody who's local that I can visit and try little bits and have that knowledge imparted upon me as I'm going through the smoke, you know?
Well, like I said, we'll chat later on, but there are places like that you can get, they're online places like the Country Squire is a great tobacconist down south. And they have some excellent blends there. And I have gotten to try one is the Old Toby, and that is an aromatic.
Mhm.
Okay. But I actually like it because it's not thick and it's not soupy, and it's light but satisfying.
Sure.
And great in here, and it's what they call the finest pipe weed in the Shire. If you've watched Lord of the Rings, then you will notice or understand that reference.
No, I've read the book many times.
Okay, so
That's honestly that's the only book I think I can say I've read more than 5 times.
well, Gandalf and Bilbo were sitting there in the first one on the end when Bilbo was talking about leaving the Shire, and they were sitting there watching the sunset and blowing their smoke rings, and then the ship through the ring, and that was one of the lines in there. Old Toby, finest pipe weed in the Shire. So they make a Middle Earth series of tobaccos.
Sure.
Some are aromatic, some are not aromatic. So they're actually quite good. I have not sampled them all, but I've talked to many people that have and said, yes, they are quality. There's another one that I would tell you to look at, and they're in Pennsylvania. It's called Boswell's. They're in, I think it's Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, right in that area. Boswell. They also make pipes, and
Okay, I'm gonna need you to spell that for me.
I will. But Boswell.
Boswell?
Boswell.
Oh, that's what Boswell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was hearing Bodla. Like, what the hell is
No. Well,
Bodla? How do you even
the
spell
rubbish
Bodla?
trucks finally moved away, so you can hear me a little better. But yeah, they have some terrific blends, and these are all different recommendations from people. And
Oh, they have samplers. I love samplers.
so I was just going to say, and check out their different samplers, so then they'll tell you what's in them, and also aromatic, non-aromatic, English,
Oh
Virginia.
no, they have exactly what I'm looking for. They have a blending kit which has just the tobacco.
Well, if you want
Unblended.
to, blend yourself, exactly, you can blend stuff. So you can get Virginias, you can get Kentuckys, you can get Perique, you can get Orientals, you can get Latakia.
And I'm thinking it more as like a like a nosing kit that you would get for bourbon and whiskey, to where you have the individual spices and different smells and aromas that you can get off of whiskey. That's what I'm looking at this sample kit as being for me, to where I know what different tobaccos.
Yep.
And
they'll tell you
they
what
taste like
tobacco's in there. Yeah, exactly. But that's why I say you can get straight Virginias or straight Kentuckys and order an ounce or so and become familiar with the specific tastes that they have.
I'm going for that right now. Blending kit. That looks good. That was a good call out. Thanks. Ooh. Okay. And the other one that you mentioned was the Country Squire?
Country Squire.
Now, what's a twist tobacco?
Pardon me?
What's a twist tobacco?
It's a twist is just what that is. Think of
it's a tobacco twisted into what looks like a sausage.
Yep. Jeez. Some will look like a dog turd. Sorry, but that's just how that is made. And speaking of bullshit, cheers, Vic. Yeah, so you got plugs, you got twists, you've got shags on a cut. You know, it's all over the place, and each one is different. So if you get a shag cut of one, all right, and you get a plug of another, the taste, even though it's the same, can vary on how that is, let me use the term, finished.
Okay.
Right? And finished has nothing to do with adding sherry or something like that. Finished just means how they prepared it to be in a plug, like the old plug tobacco that you used to chew, or shred it all up like grated cheese into a tin. That is, that makes a difference. That makes a difference.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with that. I mean, even with the tobacco that I currently have, like I have it, you saw it was very stringy. I think I'll just play around with cutting it up and see if I can get it to a nice fine type of.
I mean, there's cube cut. You know,
it's cube.
Yeah, literally cube cut, very very small, but they're cube cut, and people will buy that because they enjoy the way it burns. It takes a little longer to burn. It burns a little slower, they say. But literally, it's like little squares.
I see that. That's so weird.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it? When you start going down that rabbit hole and you get caught in there, it is amazing. So
there's a lot going on.
Oh, it's. I mean, we're off on a tangent. I wanted to talk about squadron leader with.
Sorry.
but that's okay. It's okay. He doesn't care. He's probably just sitting back enjoying his dram and listening to us stammer. You know, it's okay. It's absolutely
good for stammering. But yeah, right on.
But now there's some places that you can go and look, and then the forums that I told you about, you know, to help you on this journey, and they're just really, honestly, just like in our whiskey tube community, Tony, there are some really good people out there that have an extreme amount of knowledge, and not because they're Einstein, but they've just been doing
it for so long.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my goodness. I might just buy all these samplers from this place. I love samples.
Well, exactly. And it's there. But if someone doesn't turn you on to these things, you can spend your time just going through tons of places. But now you have a spot that's boom. Hey, this is, and it's not far from me. I mean, New York, Pennsylvania. So I'm surprised on the island or anything like that you don't have true tobacconists. But who knows?
I might. I mean,
Yeah,
there may be some. I haven't done the complete research yet. I know when I
yeah,
just smoke,
exactly.
if I just search like smoke shop, I'm gonna get a
Yeah,
bunch of
you're
like
getting
head shops
you're
and stuff.
yeah, you're exactly. I was gonna say you're getting the glass pipe shops and blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. Like, yeah, no, you want a real tobacconist, but unfortunately, they're becoming few and far between, particularly
Sure.
when um, these hookah pipes and glass pipes for other uh, bullshit, let's say,
Sure.
is unfortunately a good chunk of their business. So they're just trying to stay alive. But when you find a good quality tobacconist, just like I told you about, you frequent those brick and mortars, either in person or order from them online to keep them in business,
Right.
because those are the tobacconists. They're not into the BS. They are there for that, between the cigars and the true quality pipe tobaccos. There is a difference. Now, here in Vegas, I don't really have that. I do have a shop that has a nice selection, but unfortunately, the person that's there is more knowledgeable on the cigar end than he is the pipe end. But I do frequent that place, and I do purchase some bulk from them. Like I got a bulk Virginia, and then I got the I do believe it's the Peter Sockeby Navy Flake, if I remember correctly, and that was good. So I have a few, but unfortunately, like I said, I just don't do this on a regular basis. But I'm enjoying learning about all of this on here.
Oh, see, I'm using this also as a bit of a crutch to get off of cigarettes.
Well,
So,
burley is primarily a cigarette tobacco. However, burley is also a prominent tobacco in pipes, but it doesn't have the crap in it that the cigarettes
mhm,
do.
right, right. Well, I've also noticed I inhale a lot less. Number one, because like a little bit of inhaling happens from time to time. It's not like I'm looking to inhale a
Yeah.
full bowl. Just
Oh
you got
no,
some
no,
left.
no, 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 no,
You
no.
got some left, some residual, and
That's
you
not
inhale.
what pipe smoking is about. So pipe
Right.
smoking is a lot like whiskey, to where you're selecting it. And then when you generally select that whiskey, it's because it's for an occasion or a time, if that makes sense to you. And the occasion or the time, event, whatever, you want that whiskey to complement it. So it's a process. And so is selecting the tobacco that you're going to use for the pipe or your cigar that you want to enjoy. Uh, what's going to happen that you're going to enjoy that with. So that's why a lot of people will have a multitude of different ones depending upon the occasion that is going to transpire.
Sure, sure. Yeah, no, I hear you on that one. See now, yeah, this is gonna be another one of those hobbies like my whiskey hobby, to where I have a multitude of glasses to drink from, because each glass gives you a different experience. So I definitely see me having a multitude of pipes to choose from, as each one will provide different smoking experiences as well. So you're muted. You're muted, bud.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I was just shaking my head, but I was like, yes, I wanted to get that out. Yes, you're absolutely right. And just like what Highland Duncan was saying right there, that
Hmm.
certain ones
Well,
can be.
that's why I want that sampler pack.
Exactly. That
Hmm.
blending kit and stuff like that. Absolutely. And so he just made an excellent point for you that you can do it this way and add a pinch or 2 pinches. I mean, you can get technical and measure it out, measure out so much, let's say Virginia, or so much of this, so much of that, and then you add this. And so that's going to be enough for, let's say, 2 or 3 bowls. And you work through that and go, you know what? Yep. Or, you know what? I want to add a little more of this, or I want to add a little more of that. So the next one you go, after you wrote it down, you say, okay, I want to increase this. And then you have that bowl or two of it. And you go, okay, yep, this is exactly what I want. Boom. It makes a difference.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Hey, cheers,
What's up,
man.
Kitty?
Hmm.
Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just checking out.
No, no. But that's what I'm saying. this hobby is as addictive as whiskey, and that's a bad choice of words for it. But I mean, it is so complex.
The rabbit hole is as deep as
The
the
rabbit
whiskey
hole.
rabbit hole.
It's so complex, but yet once you get it, it becomes simple. You're going to know what you like and what you don't like in a blend. And that is going to make the whole thing. That's going to make the whole thing. And once you figure that out,
I know the mash bills in which I enjoy, and I know
Yep.
which distilleries provide me the whiskey I enjoy.
Yep,
And which
yep,
ones
yep,
I
yep.
can taste there. I'll get there with the tobacco too.
And so,
I'm just
yeah.
starting down the
So
road.
think of this. You can look it up. And so the ingredients that they put into it to give you the flavor that they call Squadron Leader is basically the mash bill
Yep.
that you relate exactly.
Yep.
See the correlation, and it's like boom.
Oh no, Ken faded.
Yeah. Oh, it happens. But I figured,
What did he go for? Only like 36 hours today? This was
no, he didn't do one of those streams, but I think he was probably on 4 to 5 hours.
That man's a machine.
Yeah, yeah. He was on 4 to 5 hours down there in Australia. But
right on.
Yeah, he did well. So yeah, you're stuck with us, Sugar Kitty, on Whiskey Day here. So, and I'm sipping on a little Glencairn 10 this afternoon. It's a little after 1 here in Las Vegas, and being that it did come from the other side of the world, Lithuania, I figured that is the appropriate dram to pour this afternoon while I sit here and discuss my box opening and pipe tobacco today, just as a impromptu, spur of the moment thing.
Tobacco conversation's always good. You know what? I think I'm ready for another.
Well, I love having this type of conversation. So the people that are new are going to really understand what we talk about pub style. This is it. This type of conversation. I hate to say going from apples to zebras, but we can. We don't discriminate. But, you know, Tony and I can only relate this tobacco to what we know. And as our experiences and knowledge grow, we will become on the same page and be able to relate to it in terms of tobacco. But
you're much further along on this journey than I am. Quite
well,
quite interesting. I know, and like you said, if you know this much, I know negative amount. You know,
but you know what? When I started on that whiskey journey years ago, I was the same way. So it's just we can relate. So when I'm talking to him, and some people look, what? Once they watch this stream after the fact, that I talk about whiskey when I'm talking about tobacco, but the mash bill and the ingredients in the tobacco, the mash bill's the ingredients in whiskey. So whether you got corn, barley, rye, whatever, for whiskey, you're going to have Perique, Latakia, Orientals, Virginias, Kentuckys. You know, it can go on and on. It's the recipe or the ingredients for the tobacco, one and the same. So,
for sure, yeah.
You were kind of expecting about 8, considering, but I guess I'll have to make do. Hey, Glencairn 10 is always here next to me. Yeah, I'm so glad that I had him pick that up for me and bring it home here. Absolutely, it wasn't, and particularly for the $25 for the bottle. Come on, Sugar Kitty, I couldn't pass it up. You would have actually had something to say if I didn't grab something like that. That's for sure.
I agree with Highland Duncan. It is a tool.
Hey, Highland, I appreciate you. I mean, like I said, all the way down there in Scotland to pop on here and hang with us. Absolutely wonderful. And I mean that, to have you on. Let a few more people know that, you know, we're here, and would love to have people on down there, because I know there are certain things that you're going to be able to get that I'm not going to get here unless I can find a tobacconist that will ship from, let's just say, you down in Scotland or over in the UK. And there might be a few that are here, and I'm wanting to experience those because they're way different than some of the stuff that we get here. And just watching Sweet Galen's stream the other day, and I think it was from France that they had, that it was tea leaf dry. And I love that analogy. That's how dry it was in the package when they opened it up, to which doesn't mean there's nothing wrong with it. But you're going to have to pack your bowl a little tighter because it's so dry. But be prepared, because I don't believe it's going to be a long smoke as dry as it is. So that being said, you can go from one extreme to the other. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, in your perusing of these forums and talking with a bunch of people, have you heard of anyone rehydrating their tobacco?
I was just going to get into that.
All right.
It's funny you should say that. That's so good that you put it. I was going to say, you can always take, those little hydration packs that they have that you can put in a travel humidor. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. They're not Belvita, but they're small. They're a small little hydration pack. They almost look like paper, but they will hold humidity at 60%, 65, 70, 75%. And you can buy them at a tobacco. You can buy them off of Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
But so people will say
if you don't have those, pro tip, if you don't have any of those and you have some fruit around, cut up a slice of apple and put a slice of apple inside a paper towel. Stick that inside your bag or a baggie with your tobacco, and it's not going to impart any flavor. It's just going to give you the moisture.
Yep.
I do that.
You can do that. I've heard of fruit, but I don't know what, and I don't know. Thank you for that, because you were right down the same avenue I was. I was going to say, I don't know if it imparts flavor into your tobacco. So if you had an English blend and you just wanted it to be a little more moist, that I heard that people will put a slice of fruit in there, but I've never done it.
Apples are the ones that I've found to be the most moisture and the least flavor imparted. And when you wrap it inside the paper towel, doesn't have any direct contact, so you're not really risking that part of it. But if you use other fruit like a peach or a plum or whatever, they are darker. They are more flavorful. Like an apple doesn't really have a flavor unless you're going for a Granny Smith or something, like that. I'm talking, like a regular plain old, I don't even know, like a Gala, I guess. It's not too sweet, but it is very, very juicy. I always have 3 or 4 of them in my fridge because they're delicious.
And you're not talking about Red Delicious, but I got you.
Yeah, right. I'm talking about Galas. Yeah. Yeah. But I found through the years, through other smoking experiences, if I have a dry product and I need to rehydrate it, a slice for a half an hour tops rehydrates it quite nicely. If you don't have those packets are better to keep it at the at the moisture level, humidity level that you want it at. But if you don't have it, you're in a pinch and you can't wait for a delivery, don't have a tobacconist to visit, grab a slice of fruit, man. Works.
Hey, this is valuable information. Get yourself, if you have some that you're going to want to rehydrate, get yourself one of these smaller jars. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and drop your stuff in there, put it in there, seal it up overnight, and the next day give it a whirl, because this will be more than what you would put in a bowl. But anyway, by the way, this is called King's Foil. It's a Virginia and Kentucky blend from the Country Squire. Sorry, it's hard to see, but that's one of their blends in there, and it's a non-aromatic. But yeah, that's why I like those jars. And like I said, that's why I go to the thrift stores and pick some of them up for $1. And sometimes you'll find an 8 or 10 ounce nice jar with a nice sealed lid you just push down. So if you've got more tobacco that you want to keep fresh, dump it in there, seal it, make a label. Yes, like that. My gosh, what is that?
That's the Lane 1Q.
Holy smokes. Would you buy 16 ounces?
8 ounces of it I got.
Yeah. Get yourself
That was my first purchase. 8 ounces of lane 1Q.
Well, get yourself those jars then. Yep.
Oh well,
I'm sure
I have my own.
Oh,
mason.
yes. That's it. You're golden. You're golden.
Yeah.
Yep. Put it in there. Yeah. Make a label. On the tops of those, I use a wine glass marker. Yeah, it will come off, but I'm generally not touching it. But I have to write it on there or I'll forget. But I will print out regular labels and just wrap it.
Yeah, I was going to say, get yourself a label maker. It's so much better.
Yeah. I have them. I have one. I can make them and put them on there. Other people, like on these tins, if you do it right, that the seam right here on the side, you can pick that off and that whole band will come off.
It becomes writable at that point.
Yeah. Well, you can just wrap it around that jar if it was that and you put it in there. Yeah. So sometimes you can buy this stuff in a tin and then you go, you know what, I like it. And you find out, oh, they have it in bulk. So you buy 4, 6, 8 ounces in the bulk, save that wrapper, wrap it around that particular jar. Boom. I've done that with my Cornell and Dill, the Beast. And that's just exactly what it's called, the Beast. So I've done that just so that I can know what it is when I want to go back to it. So that's funny. As I go through this penny farthing from GLPs, the Perique is definitely forward in this one. And I'm just getting and I call it a mild, it's very mild, little irritation from the smoke, but it's nothing bad or anything like that. But I think it's the Perique. And I'm trying to remember the other one. It's another one from GLPs. And I just can't remember if it's Celeste Morning. I guess that Chelsea Morning, rather, excuse me. And I'm like, I think that's what it is. That I like it, but I find it mildly irritating, in drying on the palate. A little water there but now see, and sometimes what you drink brings out more. It's funny from that. I got a little more of that earthiness that I kind of like. So it's that hay grass note.
Right.
It's and we get that sometimes in whiskey. You'll get that grassy flavor, so on and so forth. Not quite the same, but I'm just letting you know that it's along that line. You pick that up.
Gotcha. Not so much a heavy weeded funk, but the weeded funk is there.
Correct.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yep, I knew you would. I'm just trying to think of how to explain that so you and I both are on the same page.
But that's what you're throwing down, bud. Yeah,
well,
I got
you know, that's the whole thing with this. That's the whole thing with this. You and I are as green as a blade of grass at this, and I try to articulate it so that everybody can pick up on it. And I know you and I talk whiskey a lot, so I'm always going to that, but that's what we know. Right. So when you don't know anything else, that's what you have to go by. So when I'm, like I said before in the stream, that when I'm talking about it, that I will go back to that because that's how I can relate to it. But as I have interactions with others and we discuss it, I learn more. I'm not always having a pipe when I'm talking about it, but I'm learning about it because I enjoy watching other people's streams. And I think that they're real good. And, you know, like I said, I've mentioned the Spurgeon Piper. He's just another one that's real good and talks about it. And another guy that I've actually spoken to on, you know, via phone, where we text back and forth and stuff like that, is Jersey Piper. So he's right up there with us as far as understanding and experience. Nice guy out of Jersey. Jersey Piper. His first name is Kevin. And anybody that's in here listening doesn't know, I suggest you go and slap him a sub and tell him Bourbon Neophyte sent you. But good guy. Nice stuff. He's on his what they call a codger challenge right now to where he is smoking some of the older, what we call codger blends. And I think he's on his last leg of it. I'm trying to remember. I just saw his last stream or his last video. He doesn't necessarily do lives, but he does a lot of video. But I'm working on trying to get him on next time that you and I are on, Tony, to talk about stuff like this. He's another real good person that I enjoy listening to. Like I said, we chat back and forth a lot. And another one is Mark, M-A-R-C, Spade. He is another one. He's down south. I think he's in Kentucky or Tennessee, and I don't recall. But I enjoy watching him on there. I love his dialogue. I love his manner about himself. I think that he carries himself well, and I think his topics are spot on with some of the things that he talks about. I mean, when you find these people that resonate with you, I enjoy listening to them. I enjoy watching them, and it makes it worthwhile. And another new guy that I'm actually working with, and he and I have just chatted briefly via email. It's called Bikes and Briars is his channel. Bikes and Briars. He's out of California. He's new, but Bikes is in motorcycles. Briars, of course, is in pipes. And he had some interesting content. Like I said, he is on our level, just the way you and I are. He is new to this whole experience, and I like watching his content. And not giving all these shout outs because I really don't want to exclude anybody, but my first Spirits and Leaf stream, I had a gentleman from on Flat Cap Piper, Raphael. He and I have talked, we just recently talked about getting together and doing another stream together. Really another good one. Him and his wife do streams on pipes and cigars, and then really good people, and love listening to them. They're comical, actually. I enjoy it, and not that it's a comedy routine. Don't even think it. They're serious.
I got somebody at my door. I'll be right back.
Sorry. Go ahead and get it. They do good reviews. And another guy that's on the East Coast is Beans 316. So Beans 316. Brian, I like listening to him. He's usually on Saturdays, does about a 10-minute review, maybe a little bit longer. It just depends. But I mean, there's so many others, and I'm sorry if I really have missed people, but it's not intentional. But they're just so, I just like watching them, and I like to tell people about them because it's the channels that actually put forth some decent content that's out there. And there are some people that have been out doing content on pipes for a while, like Mutton Chop Piper. Been around for many, many, many years. So when you're new into this journey, it just helps to have somebody that brings you along and helps you, but yet in turn, you're going to help somebody else and learn more about it. And you're right. I forgot you were on there until you put that up. Thank you. And he's a great guy. He truly is a great guy. I enjoy the conversation with him. Like I said, we email back and forth, he and I. Raphael really is a genuinely good person. And he'll tell you, he doesn't know everything either. He just knows what he and his wife like. They enjoy doing the reviews, and basically it's either good or bad. And that's what we want to know. But again, where he is in his journey to where I am in my journey to where Tony is in his journey, he's up here and we're still down here. But it's good to be associated with people like this just to help us along. So anyway.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got a delivery. Mail call came.
Oh, that's terrible. You got a foul north. I can't stand it.
I know, it's horrible, right?
Yeah.
I hate being interrupted for such horrible, shitty whiskey.
I know. I can't understand why you get that stuff there. I mean, if you want, just drop it off at my house. I will take it off your hands. I mean, I don't want you to have to go through such a horrific event.
I got 2 bottles here, one for me and one for Bourbon. So,
Is he home yet?
Can definitely send you some samples. No, I think he's coming home on Sunday.
Okay.
I think.
Well, he was around. I saw him, and then I realized I forgot that he was there for someone's wedding, because I'm thinking, why would he go there? It's so darn hot. But anyway, all right. It happens at our age.
Yeah. True story.
Mm-hmm. You know what, Sugar Kitty? That's why I told him, I will take that terrible bottle off his hands. I mean, I feel terrible that he has them there. I mean, matter of fact, he should just give one to me and one to you. That way, him and Bourbon wouldn't have anything to worry about. It would be taken care of appropriately.
Don't worry, they're in the right place right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not being abused. They're with happy family. Don't worry.
Not saying that they won't abuse you, depending, but
No, these don't get abused. Like other bottles get abused. Like this gets abused.
Oh well, that's Buffalo Trace. I mean,
that's
like Jack Daniels and Jim Beam.
That gets abused.
Sorry.
Other bottles, get savored.
So you will find tobacco is going to be the same way. There's going to be ones that you savor.
Oh, for sure.
That's right, Sugar Kitty. Really close. Really, really close. He's just telling you. Mm-hmm. And that person is trained in hazardous material disposal, and he will come and properly take it away.
Yeah.
But so tobaccos are the same way. There's going to be some like this. I got why they're saying sip it.
Mm-hmm.
I got why they're saying sip it.
Right.
Not that it's bad, but you don't want to freight train it because, the bite.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I got it. And like I said, I'm still working on it. And I didn't pack this thing full, but also we're talking. And I know you mentioned, sometimes, I have problems keeping things lit. When we said, sometimes you just have to dry it. But when you're having this conversation like you and I are, you're really not sitting here and enjoying
concentrating on keeping it
bingo.
And
so I got an email from somebody a while ago that asked to say, hey, on the stream, is there any way that we can do a stream where we kind of all have the same tobacco, and hopefully it's new, that for the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes that we're just there enjoying the tobacco before we comment? I said, well, that's a good idea. I said, 10 minutes seems to be like a long time. However, maybe that would be an appropriate amount of time to come up with an understanding and a thumbs up, or I'm going to have to give it another try. I thought that was a good idea. I said, yeah, maybe invite some people on, make sure that we have the same blends for the first time, let's say, and then say, okay, 4 people, West Coast, East Coast, Northern, I almost said Northern Pennsylvania, Northern United States, Southern United States. You know what I'm saying? Could be UK, could be Canada, could be Australia, New Zealand, who knows? But okay, let's give it a shot. But again, that's content for another time. But I love that type of feedback.
Sure.
Honestly, love that type of feedback. And that's another thing that's good. And someone even said, and I was talking about it, cats with they are not. That's right. But do a blind to where you get a particular tobacco, and then you partake and you enjoy it, and then tell us what you think. You're not going to know what it is, and don't mind the wife, she just walked through.
Sure.
And see what you think about it. That's a good idea. I do like that.
I pay my debt.
Oh, look at that vicious killer. Is that your attack cat?
Oh yeah, that's my guard kitty. It's my scaredy cat that runs at any sound.
But again, that's more content that people are giving me. And I'm like, holy smokes, I appreciate that because I don't think anyone's doing it.
That's a
So I'm
great
like,
idea right there, for sure.
well, I kind of thought it was myself, actually. You know, I'm thinking, hey, well, why not? Let's try it. Why couldn't we do something, you know, like that? And
Well, I think you could I mean, if you got something in bulk for yourself, right? You could probably send out 1 ounce samples from that bulk
yes, oh
package.
yeah. Oh yeah. I have.
Right.
That's how I ended up with this box that I opened up today live here with you
Right.
guys.
But yeah, like similar to packaging samples for a blind tasting for
Yes,
whiskey. You do that for
same
tobacco.
thing.
That'd be a much longer stream. You could only do one, maybe 2 at a time.
And Island Duncan, that's what we talk about all the time. And so we relate it to whiskey. But yeah, enjoy the time, enjoy the conversation. You know, that's what it's about. That's what it's about, and that's why I keep going back to whiskey versus tobacco. But it does make the difference. It does. And people ask me, oh, relighting. Well, you know what? If you're concentrating and you're working and you have a good cadence and that's what you're doing and you're not beating your gums, you're going to be able to do it. But when you're in a discussion like we all are between live and then on chat, as you know, it's not going to happen. Sure. It's not going to happen. So it will go up, but it's okay. So appreciate you in that, what you put up there, because you're absolutely correct. It is very distinct. That's for sure. It is very distinct.
Yeah.
And so is the racking of a shotgun. You do not need to see it to know what it is. Not at all.
All right, but I think I'm going to have to step out, start getting ready for tonight's D&D campaign. I need to study my character and make sure making all the right choices, which of course are all the wrong choices. Thank you for this chat. It was very informative.
Oh, look who's this. We got somebody from the UK. He popped in here. So Matt Piper. Cheers, man. Thank you for popping on, brother. First box opening and everything else, and you're here. And you may not have heard, but I've just put this in. So just so being that you're here, you'll understand, just put this in the old cob here and decided that that's what we're going to go, and what the heck. So appreciate it. Make sure you smash the heck out of that like button, man. But yeah, I'm going to be on for a little bit longer. I'm going to enjoy this and end up calling it. But
right on. Yeah,
dude, I appreciate you. But when I do this again, we're definitely, you're coming on. But like I said, we'll have the same blend and we'll do that. How's that?
That sounds awesome.
Serious. I think
that sounds like a great time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Anthony, you have yourself a good one. Enjoy the rest of that bowl.
Dude, thank you. Yep. Cheers. Yeah. Always glad to have you on, man. Thank you for popping in. And no, you are not late. Just going to work on this a little bit, and we're just talking about it. And I don't know, have you had this at all? I don't know if it's available over there in the UK, but it's from GLPs. And I will read it to you if you don't know. It's a shag cut with bright and red Virginias, with some Louisiana Perique and a hint of fire-cured dark Kentucky. So far, it definitely is smoky. Definitely is smoky on it. And I've got it in a Missouri Meerschaum cob only because I want to make sure that there's no different toppings or anything like that on it, which it didn't say there was, but I, want to be able to gauge what it is like before I would put it in a briar like my Danish Stanwell that I have right here that I've had for probably 30 years. But anyway, so yeah. And we're just talking about anything in general. It's just one of those things that we're doing, and really appreciate you popping in. 3 nuns. Are you out back in your smoke shack? But anyway, yeah, I'm finding it's pretty good. I'm going to need a little more time with it. The Perique is definitely forward, but that Kentucky in there really gives it some nice smoky flavor to it that I find it pretty good. But like I said, I'm gonna need to work with this a little bit more to really. But like I said, I'm finding it that it has a nice flavor, but it's like some others. I get this. It's very mildly irritating with a drying sensation, and it's not terrible by any means. But I get it from a certain blends, and I just think it is it's just different. Kentucky and Perique, that's what I like. It's pretty complex for me as a new bud. Well, you know what? Same thing with Tony and I. Absolutely new on this. Don't know up from down, left from right. But what we do know is that there's certain things that we like. We may not know how to exactly articulate it. And when we articulate it, we always go back to whiskey, because he and I collect whiskeys and I talk about it a lot. So it's hard for us to quite come out and say, it's this, it's that, because we just don't know yet. So I'm sure that you're kind of in that same thing. See, I don't have any of that yet, but people tell me that I've got to get it and that I would appreciate it. Yeah. Yep. Okay, perfect. But it's just different. And another thing that we were talking about before you got on here, and Highland Duncan mentioned it, and he goes, because I'm talking and I keep relighting, doesn't make a hill of beans. I don't care. It's the conversation we're having. It's this dialogue that we're having. And that's the most enjoyable. And if it takes 10 times or 20 times, who cares about it? But that's what we're doing. And that's why we're talking. This is totally off the cuff, impromptu. Just, I'm out here on the patio. It's a beautiful day in Las Vegas. And I don't know, it's 30 some degrees Celsius. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but almost 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's getting warm, but there's a nice breeze, and I'm comfortable so far. And that's what counts. So we were just, before you got on here, Tony was asking, he goes, what is this twist? And, so we were talking about the different types of tobacco, be it, a flake, a plug, So he just didn't realize what it all came into. So I have not had any of that yet because there's just so much out there, and I'm interested in it, but I have so many other ones that I have to get into at some point to really get through some of these, because then you get to the point with all the whiskey I have, where do I put this stuff? Because I just don't go through it on a daily basis. Looky here, Mr. Jackson. Cheers, brother. Thanks for popping in there. Always appreciate you. Remember, smash that like button. And if you are new, subscribe to this channel. Click on the bell so you get your notifications. And if you're coming in late to this and want to see it again, watch the replay and please comment. You know what? No. And I'm looking at it hard, and it's still in the corner of my eye. I may do that today. And if I finish this, yeah, I think I may, because people tell me it is an excellent English blend, good flavor. So, and you know, I like Latakia, and I do like the Orientals and Virginias and Kentuckys and stuff like that. So it sounds like something that's going to be right up my alley. Mm-hmm. Yep. But I might have to get another dram here in a bit if I keep going, because I'm out. But I've got some water and it's all good. And let me fire this pipe back up. So right now it is from GLP's. See, cops are on a roll here. It's called Penny Farthing. It's a shag cut. So I'll repeat it again. It's got bright and red Virginias with some Louisiana Perique and a hint of fire-cured dark Kentucky. I love the cut. I love the cut. So, but it is absolutely different. It is absolutely different. That's for sure. Yeah, like I said, I've gotten a couple of emails on it, and hold on for just a second. What I'm going to do is, because people always ask me about it. Hold on, let me just see if I still have it here. No, I don't. Anyway, I just thought I had my one email on there. I was just going to pop up there so everyone can take a see on there. But I really want to try it, and I actually just may open that thing up after this, just because I can. One thing about it on this is the smoke is very rich. I like that. And it's now I think I am starting to get some of the sweetness out of the Virginia, as many relights as I had. I think it's finally starting to appear to me as I do this. But it's different. I will say that it's different, and you know, this may be a better morning blend, or it may be like now a good afternoon blend, or it may be an early evening blend. And I'm sure everyone that's on here that's into pipe tobaccos has certain ones that you like first thing in the morning, great evening. Some are just great all day, no matter if it's morning, noon, or night. They're just great to keep with you and travel with. And I feel that way about, and I pulled it out a couple of times, but I feel that way about, whoops, turn it around, Anthony. The early morning, it can be morning, noon, or night. It doesn't make a difference. It's an excellent one to have on there. Uh-oh. Here we go. Here we go. Cheers, Cool Runnings. How are you, sir? Appreciate you. But, you know, it's different. Well, yeah, I know you've been busy. Cheers, man. It is. It is. I find that thing good. And then I said, too, is now that it has opened up, as in when I say opened up, is the tin has been opened up a while and it's dried out a little bit more, because I thought it was a little on the moist side, but it wasn't bad when I first opened the tin. But that was back in December. So it shows you how much I actually go through. I don't. But it's perfect now, in my opinion. Perfect right now. Mr. Jiggs, cheers, man. Great having you here, man. Appreciate it. Yes, I know this is something different. You normally don't see me on a Saturday, nor like this in the backyard, just sitting and chilling and just chewing the fat. But it's just something different. And I just decided I got the time. And that's what I'm going to do today. Yep. But it's different. You know, it's not like when I have, let's talk about Peterson's early morning. It's rich, it's creamy, it's sweet with a little citrus and spice on there. I don't consider it heavy. I don't consider it mild to medium, maybe. Other people say, no, it's more medium bodied, because I've had this discussion. But you know what? To each his own is subjective when it comes to your taste and what you like or what you don't like. So, yeah, I have no idea. But I could have that morning, noon, and night. Another one that I think is very, very good is the oh my gosh, it's a Country Squire one. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, it's Hunting Creek, I think it's called. It's a mild, very mildly, when I say mild, mildly aromatic English. So I think it has a slight topping on it. Love that thing. That is a wonderful tobacco. It's not, it's put this way, it's what you know of in English, but that it's just a sugar topping. It's nothing extravagant. It's nothing that ghosts your pipe by any means. So I'll put it in anything, but I really enjoy it. And I don't know if I actually have it in here. Oh, I do. Hunting Creek, I actually do have it here in my little jar, because I bought it in bulk from the Country Squire. I got that back in February. And like I said, I just don't go through a lot. But this is a really nice blend. And let me get this out. Like, people say, well, a lot of people say, well, what do you carry your stuff in? So I have this satchel. And in here has I don't know if you all can see it, but it has different things in there. But you see there's my tamper I have in there, and a few other stuff. Of course, yes, I have a light, but the pipes, and I'll put one in there to show you, it just goes into the mole system, they call it, and it fits in there perfectly, where I can bring more than one or two or three. But now you can see the way the pipe sits in there with what I need. And then on the other side here, I keep cleaners. There's some pouches in there that I can put tins in and other stuff. Then the other side, of course, if depending upon where I am, still has some more of that webbing, but I keep a book. George Washington's Rules of Civility. I just found it interesting and been perusing through it for a while, but I just think it's a neat little book. Of course, it's a time period. It's a snippet from then, but I use this canvas this canvas bag that has a strap, and then of course you can carry it, so on and so forth. It has another, handles on it, and I like it. It's just nice, and I can pick it up and I move on with it. Holy smokes, look at this here. Twice in a row. Evil Williams, cheers, man. Thank you for popping in here. Appreciate it. Got 9 people on. I mean, it's been steady all afternoon for me, so it's great seeing everybody here and enjoying the discussion. As always, I mean, it's just wonderful to have you all here. And those of you that are popping in or trying to like, what's going on? What are we having here? We're just doing our normal thing here, doing what we do best, talking about whiskey and tobacco. Just something to do today. All right, sir. I know it's late where you are, but I appreciate you popping in. Look forward to seeing you again and contributing whenever I open up that tin of Squadron Leader. I will make sure I do it when you are around, or have another bowl of it just so we can talk about it more and in depth. Thanks again, man. Appreciate you. We are equal opportunity drinkers, sir. We do not discriminate on Bourbon Neophyte. That's my normal whiskey tube channel to where I do the reviews. But if you want to drink beer, that's fine. If you want to drink a cup of coffee, a tea, or sparkling water, there is no actual requirement that you have to drink anything alcohol ever at any time. You just may have an affection for what we're talking about, and that's perfectly fine. But nope, beer works. We don't care. If you want to drink a Guinness, or you want to drink a Belgian beer, or you want to drink a pint from something that you have and discuss it ever, feel free. We don't discriminate. That's for sure. Particularly another channel, Scotch Down Under. He does different things, not only just for Scotch, of course, but International Whiskey Day, or World Whiskey Day, which is today, which I was having a dram earlier. When they do Oktoberfest, you'll have different types of beers and brats and you name it. I mean, it's an event. So, but you can do whatever it is you want to do, but I am not against a tall Guinness. As a matter of fact, I might actually go and pour a Guinness now that you've got me thinking about a pint of it, because I have one left, and that might be perfect to end this with. Is a nice pint of Guinness. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Easily distracted by good drinks. Ha! Oh, they get alcohol to 9%. Well, maybe their math is a little off. I don't know, bud. But yeah. Yep. So we have a couple of shops here that I can go to that have a nice selection of almost said Oriental beers because I'm thinking of Oriental tobacco. It's not. Of foreign beers, Canada, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, you name it, over in the UK. So they get some decent stuff here, but as you know, some of the stuff that we think is good imported beer, you would look at and go, that's panther piss, and why would you drink such a thing? We won't touch that stuff here. Again, taste is subjective. What you like to versus what I like are two different things. But, it's like they say, Foster's is Australian for beer, and they'll tell you, what are you drinking that crap for? There's plenty of better beer. But there you go. Well, Mad Piper's the one that turned me on that. I'm like, I have some of that, and that might be perfect. That's for sure. Mountaineering here? Okay. I can understand that. At least in my mind, I can. But let me say this, though. A Guinness poured from the tap in a true Irish tavern at the appropriate temperature, fresh like that, can't compete to me opening a can and pouring it into the glass. It just can't. The smoke is very rich. I know I've said it many times, but it's very rich. I like the smokiness that I get from this penny farthing. And I know it's the Kentucky, but it's so thick and rich. And it definitely is complex. There's a lot going on in here. And the room note, I don't think the room note on this is bad at all on this particular blend. It's definitely a earthy room note, but it's not pungent. It's not I don't think off-putting by any means, but if you don't like smoke or in general, you're not going to like it. So, Mad Piper, I forgot. Where in the UK are you? And I apologize, but I forgot your first name. I do know I know it because I am subbed to your channel and stuff, and I've watched you and we've conversed via your comments and stuff like that. But I forgot where you are in two. I forgot your first name, so I apologize. If you could let me know. Well, Sugar Kitty's on there, and I know he can explain it, but it's all in the fermenting process. And then whenever they make the beer, and you're right, sugar is going to turn into alcohol, but it has to do probably with the grains that they use when they make the beer. There you go. Sweet malts and long fermentation time. That's what I figured. Like I said, Sugar Kitty's here, and he will let us know. He is one of my authorities when it comes to beers and whiskeys in general. Okay, Tom, that's it. And my apologies. I was thinking Thomas, but I was like, I can't remember because Tom was my father-in-law's name. So I was like, I better not. Okay. Cheers, brother. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. But yeah, this is definitely different, the penny farthing, and I think it's good. But it's going to be one that I'm going to have to work on it a minute, if that makes sense. You know, it's something that it's something that I don't know. Right now, it's just not the sweetness and stuff there. I just don't think I understand it enough to really say it. But right now, it's just not hitting that spot. For me, sorry, let me move back here a little bit. It's just not right where I would like it to be. But again, things have a tendency to grow on you, or you appreciate them in time. And I think that that's what this one here definitely needs, is just a little more time with me on that. And I'm sure, Tom, you have had the same experience with some that you had. You thought they were okay, but maybe not as exciting as you thought they were going to be. But as you had more experiences with it, you were able to get out more flavors, more complexity, and appreciate it. And it may not be an everyday, oh, I got to have one, but there are times that it's definitely an occasional tobacco for particular times that you go, you know, this would be good to pull out and have now because it seems like it works better. And that's exactly the way I think this one might turn out to be. But I'm going to reserve my final judgment and everything on it, because it's literally just crack that tin and put it in there. So before I actually give it a blessing or trade it away, or part it out and let other people experience it, it's definitely going to be something I will take time with. Yeah, Tom. Yeah, I'm going to give you that, and that's what I'm saying. I think it's just going to need a little more time on there. It's just like I said, it's reminiscent of something that I've had that has a little something in there that, like I said, it just is this. It's drying and mildly irritating, but it's not off-putting, because the Chelsea Morning from GOPs does that, and I'm pretty sure that's the one. Similar blend, similar, and I get that off of there, and it's just like, But anyway, this should be almost done, and I will pack something else to end this out here in a little bit. I think I'm getting to the bottom of this one here, which is fine with me. You can tell when you're getting closer, because the flavors change. It gets a little stronger when you get into that. When you get into that little bit of the dottle that's there at the bottom, where I call all the juices really hang out and all the flavors meld together, and it gets a little more bitey and a little stronger on there on the tongue. You can pick it out. Yes. I'm going to set that one down here for now and cleanse the palate. So you're on the Three Nuns, right, Tom? Are you still on that right now? Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh. We're going to go with a little tried and true here. Little tried and true here. Let's see here what we got going on. Get rid of some stuff here. I want to be rude and reach in front of people. But I see you, I hear you. 3 nuns. It was the time I took 3 bowls, but I didn't know what I was going on 5 bowls later. Okay. I got it. I got that. So let me just clear this out here. I just don't want to see some things here. And all righty. My apologies. I just don't want to reach over things and look like a fool, but we're going to put a little my mixture 965 into the old Stanwell here. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Just a few little things pop out there. Can you see that? Yes. Oops. Thank goodness it was just a leaf that came out there. At first, I wasn't sure what in the heck it was, but it's so nice to just have a little of this here and throw that in there like so. Pack that down here. Pardon me. Don't remember if I swabbed this out earlier, but that's okay.
The dog is ready for pickup. Okay.
All righty. See how it goes? Get my call to say the dog is ready. Got the dog at the groomers. And that's fine. She's good. And I'm glad she's ready. Because I was just looking at the time. Like, yeah, I ought to be getting a call here in a little bit. But anyway, this was going to be my parting bowl anyway. So see, it works out. Oh, yeah. My mixture 965 from Peterson makes a God, that's good. Oh, the flavor just immediately pops when it's something you like. So I can understand that. When it's something you like, it's like, oh, really good, really good. Oh, yeah. It's just such a different blend from the penny farthing, you know. But here you're more Latakia and Oriental forward. And Love this. Love this blend. Tom, have you had my mixture 965 from Peterson? I really never planned on this live stream to go almost 2.5 hours. I figured within 30 minutes to an hour tops, but conversation has been good and lively. We had Ireland in the house. We had Scotland in the house. We got the UK in the house. We got Jersey in the house. We had New York in the house. I mean, we had some representation in here, that's for sure. But you know, I'm glad that people were able to pop on, particularly from across the pond and overseas, that don't normally always get to hang out with, particularly at a reasonable hour for them in the evening. For me, like I said, it's in the afternoon. So it's got to be close to 10:30, 10:15 in the UK in the evening. So, it's nice to have people like that, like you all, that can be in here and participate in the chat. And got some ideas going forward now for to chat with people. All right, Tom, cheers. Have a great evening. Nice to see you. Mr. Reynolds, cheers, man. Thanks for popping in. Just going to wrap it up here in just a few. I said my dog's ready for pickup, so I got to go get her. But had a wonderful impromptu stream. Had a little toast on World Whiskey Day with a little Glencairn 10. Oh, okay. Here we go. 22:10, yeah, evening. But, it's still a decent hour that we can have this conversation. And, I like that. And so if people say, yeah, do another stream on a Saturday like this, and, we're able to pop on and I'm willing to be accommodating, particularly maybe for my spirits in leaf stuff. I will do that more on a Saturday afternoon for me, but evening time for you guys over there in Ireland, Scotland, or the UK, just to make it more accessible. I may, move it earlier. I may have to do it a little later, just to, keep everyone happy and working and, involved. Like I said, I never anticipated this thing going 2.5 hours. That's for sure. But it's nice just to be able to sit and have a leisurely chat with people like this and do that. And so I appreciate you all. And, in closing, just want to say thank you and work for more content. And also, we're going to invite some other people on, and we're going to share some blends that we all have and then give you our opinion. But the thing about the catch on that will be is that none of us have tried it before. So we're going to enjoy them together after about 5 minutes and then give you opinions. So kind of like we do whiskey blind flights, it's going to be along that line. We're not going to guess make, model, all that stuff. No. However, maybe later on, we'll do something like that and say, hey, what do you think's in here? Who do you think makes this? What is this product more? How do I say this? Who do you think this product favors? What blender? And see if they can't say, oh, it's GLPs, or, it's Cornell and Deal. Something like that, just to kind of make it interesting and see what their palate is. I know I am nowhere near anything like that. But that being said, thank you all for popping in here. I appreciate you and look forward to seeing you all again. Have a great afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Cheers, everybody. Thanks. Have a good one.